Hi, I'm Barry from Birdwatch World, and I've come to one of my favourite birding spots, the Red Rock Heath here in Red Rock, New South Wales on the mid-north coast. And this afternoon I'm hunting for southern emu wrens. They are very elusive, beautiful little birds. A tiny wren with a wispy long tail that looks like an emu feather, which is where they get the name emu wren, I think. I'll check that before I release the video, but that's my theory anyway. Now, I haven't seen any. They're in the heath here somewhere. There's a few pairs of them here in the heath. I did see them a few weeks back and I took some photos, but I want to get some video of them this afternoon if I can. It's about 3:45 in the afternoon. The sun's still a little bit high and it's still quite warm, so I'm waiting for the sun to get a bit lower. I've had some wren activity earlier back over there towards that little clump of bush trees over there. There was a superb fairy wren male, and then I saw him again on this wooden perch out here. So what I'm doing is I'm just listening. I'm listening for any wren activity. There's a lot of rainbow bee-eaters chirping away, and I've seen a couple of tawny grass birds, which can be confused for southern emu wrens because they flitter around in the scrub in a similar way. They sort of fly in a similar way. So fingers crossed I can see some emu wrens and get some footage for you because they're such beautiful birds. So it's a game of patience, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm pretty sure that I just saw one out in the middle of the heath way out there somewhere. Now, I'm not sure. I heard like a wren type sound, like a chirping, like a wren kind of sound. And I looked through my binoculars. Binoculars are essential when you're looking for tiny birds like wrens and things like that. And I looked out there, and there's a reed or a stick poking up, and there's like some sort of grass, tussock tall grass just next to it. And I saw a bird moving around in there. And this is what the southern emu wrens will do. They do short spurts of flight above the scrub, and then they'll just sit low in a bush, or they'll get down out of sight completely. And I just saw a bird sitting in there, and I'm pretty sure that could be them. So I'm going to keep my eye on that section of the heath for a little while and see what pops up. Alright, I think the bird that I heard and saw before was a white-cheeked honeyeater. This is one tip I want to give you at this point. Before you go searching for a bird like this, if it's one that you haven't seen before and you don't know much about, do some research, which is what I have not done. I use the eBird app and also the Merlin Bird ID app normally for researching my birds. You get so much information off there. I also use birdsoftheworld.org, which is another which is the website, one of the websites of the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, who do the Merlin Bird app and eBird. Do your research, listen to the sounds that the bird you're looking for makes so that you know when you hear it. Like southern emu wrens make a sound that is very similar to other wrens, to my ear anyway. It's similar to the superb fairy wren and the red-backed fairy wren and the variegated fairy wren. So I don't know if I would be able to distinguish the sound of a southern emu wren, but doing that research would have really helped me here because I'm not seeing a lot of activity here yet. I'm hearing and seeing a lot of grass birds, but no emu wren. So, you know, there you go. Another tip I'll give you here is to wear earthy colours. You'll notice I'm wearing green. I've got green shorts on. I think you can see that in the video. I generally don't wear full camo because I really don't know if it works or not. I think that it does. I've never actually tested it. I will do a video about that in the future. But wear earthy colours, greens, brown, tan, that kind of thing, so that you do blend in a little bit into the environment, because that is going to help. And also stand as still as possible. If you can find some cover under a tree or something and then stand very still, the birds can think you're a tree and will not see you as a threat, and they'll come out a little bit easier. But if you're in the open like I am here, just standing still can have the same effect. The longer you stand still and don't do any, don't make too many loud sounds or quick, large movements. If you stand still and make small movements, small, slow movements, the birds will eventually get used to you. So anyway, still waiting. And I've just been scanning, like I said, binoculars are a must for something like this, and all I'm doing is I'm just scanning across the heath and moving the focus wheel and just looking for movement. If I hear a noise, I'll point the binoculars in that direction and just have a bit of a scan around. But I'm just looking for any movement. And you won't see a bird this small. Like, if you've got eyesight like mine that's not very good, you won't see a bird this small with your naked eye. You'll miss it. So use your binoculars if you've got them. And if you haven't got them, get them. This pair of binoculars was only about $179. Sorry, I just heard something out there. It could have been a grass bird. Oh, there's a bird on a reed out there. What's that? No, that's a tawny grass bird. As I said earlier, the tawny grassbirds have a similar flight style to the southern emu wren, but they fly a lot higher above the canopy. The southern emu wrens, from what I've seen, the very small encounter that I had with them, they didn't come up very high above the scrub. They stayed low to the bushes when they were flying, so they always like to stay under cover. Anyway, keep looking, fingers crossed. I just wanted to add a quick word here about what I said before about doing your research in the app before you come out. At that time, you might probably have been thinking, well, why don't you just get the app out now, Barry, and listen to the birds call. I don't like doing that. I think it's unethical to use birds calls when you're out here in the wild to try and attract birds or tempt them in. I think that's extremely unethical, and I don't do it. So that is why I didn't get the app out. Also, the other reason is I've got my phone on a gimbal set in horizontal mode. The app doesn't orient, whatever that word is, to vertical or horizontal. So I can't really, I'd have to be looking at the app side on. But it is really, in my opinion, unethical to use bird sounds or, bird seed or any other kind of food to try and tempt birds in. I never do that. You'll never see me do that. It's incredibly unethical, and I don't encourage it. I prefer to let nature just show up when she wants to, not when I want her to. So it's much better that way. It's much more of a challenge. It's, you spend a lot more time in nature when you do things that way because you have to wait. And that means you get more fresh air. You get to experience the beautiful sounds of nature. You get sunshine, vitamin D. It's all good, guys. It's all good. Another tip I just thought of is that when you're given advice by another birder or another bird photographer to go where to go and find a certain species, don't just look in that one area. I mean, quite obviously birds will fly anywhere, right? I mean, yes, birds like emu wrens are going to stick close to a certain space where they have their nest or whatever it is this time of year, right? But your area of looking for this bird is 360 degrees, okay? Look, yes, go to the space where this person has told you the bird might be, but look all around you and listen all around you, you know, because if you're just looking in that one spot where this person saw that bird 3 days ago, it may not be there. So always scan 360 degrees and listen 360 degrees. You just got to switch on and be aware that what you're looking for could turn up anywhere. Okay, the sun's getting pretty low in the sky and I haven't even sighted an emu wren yet. I think I did see one way over the other side of the heath there somewhere, but at least I did get some really good superb fairy wren footage. A male superb fairy wren was just flittering around from the tops of the bushes just across here behind me, so I got some great footage of that. But yeah, haven't sighted a southern emu wren at all, so I'm gonna call it quits for this video. But I'm making it my mission, ladies and gentlemen, to film some southern emu wrens for you. I'm going to set aside a whole week where I can come out here every morning and just be here every day and spend the time and figure out where they are mostly, and get some really good footage for you, because I really love these birds and I really want you to appreciate them as well. I want you to see them, so I'm going to do that. As usual, anything that I've talked about in this video, there'll be a link down in the description to it, like the Cornell birding apps and the birdsoftheworld.org, which is where I get all of my bird information from. All those links will be down there in the video description. I've put links down there to some binoculars that are similar to mine. These are Nikon ProStuff 3S binoculars, which aren't available anymore, but I've put links down in the video description to the model above this. They are safe links. You can safely use those and shop from those, and if you do, I get a small commission, and that helps me to be able to keep doing these videos, which do cost me money to make, so I thank you for that. Until next time, I'm Barry from Birdwatch World, and I will see you in the next video. You have a great day. Bye.